Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Rose here with Jessica Bunba, and this is our preview for House of the Dragon Season 2, Episode 6. Who's ready to see Aemond versus Daemon?
Oh man, I'm so conflicted on it. I love both these characters. I know not everybody loves Aemond, but I've made it no secret that I think he's a really fascinating character. I'm not necessarily like, "Oh, I love him. He's the greatest guy," but he's really fascinating in this idea of these two men, going at it. We're going to see who comes out on top. Maybe it sounds like from the preview that could be coming up.
Yeah, Aemond seems like he's good to go. He's just like, let's do it. And
Yep, bring him on.
if this gets Daemon away from Harrenhal and that castle and being emo, then, have at it, Aemond. I'm not rooting for you, but at the same time, I want Daemon to do something. This has been my least favorite storyline of the show as of late. I liked it at first, but it's gone on too long. We need change.
Yeah, it's gone on way too long. And it feels like, from what we've seen of Damon at Harrenhal, he had that vision of who he thought was Aemon that he was following. And then they turned around, it was himself, that sort of thing. So he definitely has some past problems with Aemon. We know that Aemon has had some past problems with Daemon. This feels like a fight that's just been like on the horizon for years, where it's coming. You don't know when, but it's gonna come around at some point.
And it's fascinating in a way because these two, even though they probably will never sit down and talk about it, they actually have a lot in common. They're both
Yes.
know what it's like to feel like they've been wronged. They each have this chip on their shoulder. The only real difference here is that Daemon is off pretending to be king right now, and you're seeing a king atop a damp and miserable throne that doesn't have any money, versus Aemond, who's actually kind of sort of getting to be king right now.
Yeah, they're both incredibly smart. They're both incredibly strategic. They both have sort of this arrogance with them. And I mean, Damon, when he was younger, also had his young arrogance about him. And now Aemond has the exact same thing going on. They are very, very similar. And that might also be part of what they don't like about each other as well. Something that maybe they don't like about themselves, or has been a challenge for themselves inside themselves.
But we are going to get so much more into that. We're also going to talk about this search for new dragon riders and trying to claim these dragons. I think there's one person we should really have our eyes peeled on. But before we go further here, hit that subscribe button because we have reviews, of course, of House of the Dragon all season long. Smash that like button as well. We really appreciate it.
Also, if you want to help support the channel further, join our Patreon for just $5 a month. You can help support us, and you'll be able to vote in polls that will help determine what shows we cover here. So if you want to be part of that, you want to help us out, that's a great way to do it. We'll leave a link for you in the description below. So thank you very much.
Thank you guys so much.
Okay, so we're straight into the Daemon versus Aemond.
Yes.
Who's going to win this battle?
Damn.
Yeah, I like Aemond a lot. He's one of my favorite characters on the show. And, yeah, he has his youth and he's got, the biggest dragon in the realm. But Daemon has experience.
Yes.
And a lot more experience. And he's been riding his dragon a lot longer, where we've seen with Aemon and Vhagar has done what she's wanted to do sometimes when she feels like doing it. She's a very old dragon that, is just kind of like, yeah, Aemon can ride me and that's fine. But if I feel like doing something that he doesn't want me to do, what's he going to do about it? And so I feel like if the fight is going to not go in Daemon's way, it's because Vhagar decides so, not because Aemon decides so.
Here's, I think, the big advantage that Daemon does have over Aemond. And this may not be an advantage in many parts of life, but Daemon is exceptional at delusions of grandeur. I think every time Daemon goes into a battle, Daemon thinks that he's going to win. There is a basketball player who once said, I think something the equivalent of, I would rather shoot 0 for 30 for 0 than 0 for 6, because 0 for 6 means I stop shooting. I don't want to lose confidence. And Daemon is more than fine to go 0 for 30 in a game, because I think he will continue to swing and swing and swing and swing until he eventually gets his way. This is a guy who waved a white flag and then
Hmm.
used it in his advantage. Like, he will do anything. He is smart. He is crafty. He
Yeah.
knows what he can do out there. Now, can
Yeah.
he do it anywhere else? I don't think so.
Yeah, I think a lot of it also has to do with his motivation, right? Like he was out there fighting the crab feeder for forever, for what felt like forever. And it was the moment that Viserys had sent a note to be like, I'm coming to bail you out, that Daemon was like, oh, no, 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 you are not coming to bail me out. Where at the end of this, it's like my brother had to come in and, bail me out. It's not happening. I'm going to win this. I'm going to win it right now. And I think with him being at Harrenhal and everything that's going on in his mind and being gassed up that he's going to be the king, that could be the same sort of motivation to be like, okay, this is my birthright. I am supposed to be the person that was next in line and I am going to take it.
Here's the crazy thing. I am both looking forward to a showdown between these two and not looking forward to a showdown, because I don't want it to happen anytime soon, because I really like both of these characters. Like, I may be Team Black, but I enjoy watching Aemond. I don't want Aemond to be killed anytime soon. I don't want Daemon to be killed anytime soon.
Yeah, I feel like if it's a versus situation, we're going to lose Aemon, and he is a really interesting character. You guys let us know in the comments. Daemon versus Aemon, who is the winner?
Okay. I am obviously Daemon, but now
I think it's Daemon, even though I'm Team Aemon.
let's talk about a character who we have not really talked much about at all in any of our
Mhm.
videos. Ulf the White.
Yep.
For those who aren't really catching the names on the episode, this is the dude who we have met who has a little bit, supposedly, of Targaryen lineage, or so he has said. And then
Bragging in the bar.
when Aegon walks in, he's like, "Hail King Aegon."
Yeah.
I I really enjoy this guy in like the small doses that we've had, but where I think it's going to matter here, like, I don't even think this is a tinfoil hat thing, just because I think they've set this up that we have Jace and Rhaenyra now, who are sort of looking forward and thinking, okay, we need to claim some more dragons. Dragons are going to be the key to our success, but we need people to ride the dragons. Let's comb through every record we have to find some distant Targaryen relatives. And it's like, this guy is right here. Do I trust him to get aboard a dragon? Because he might do the Aegon had too much to drink and hop on board, maybe,
Yeah.
but he's there for a reason.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's kind of like, it's a plan. You guys have a plan. Is it a good plan? No. Like there's so many things that can go wrong with this plan. You're going to be entrusting a stranger to then, bond with one of these dragons and ride these dragons, but are they then going to decide to ride for you? Now they have a dragon. They can decide to go off and do whatever they want with it. They don't have to be aligned with you anymore. And beside that, you need an experienced rider, or you're just going to end up in the same situation that Eamon and Luke ended up in, where they were riders, but they weren't that experienced. So when it turned into what it turned into, where Luke ended up dead, it's a lot because they couldn't control their dragons. They weren't experienced enough, and the dragons decided to do what they wanted when they wanted to. So you're going to bring in somebody who's not full Targaryen. If they don't die, get them on the dragon and then send them out. Hope they don't betray you, and hope that the dragon is going to end up sort of taking over and going and doing battle, because the person riding it doesn't know what they're doing. And there's not enough time to train them.
Okay, yes, this is a terrible plan. I think even us Team Black defenders, we can look at this objectively and be like, there are 99 different ways that this is going to go badly. However, we do not have a lot of options right now. These are desperate times. All you can do is try to arrange a proper dragon rider interview process where you go in, you say, are you going to drink before you get on the dragon? No. Okay. Am I elevating your position in the world? You right now, Ulf the White, you are sitting around, you are drinking, you're boasting about your supposed lineage. Here, you get to have a dragon. You get to have a seat at the table. You got some power. Let's make it a little bit like The Bachelor. Are you here for the right reasons? Like, you can ask all of these questions, and if you're getting the right answers, then maybe you give it a shot. Otherwise, go find some other distant relatives somewhere else. There's got to be more than just a couple. You guys can choose.
Okay, so let's get back over to Team Green because there's a lot going on for them in the preview as well. We
Yeah.
saw, Eamon having a conversation with his mom where Alicent was just like, listen, like you are living in all your glory right now, but you got to be careful. Your arrogance can, take you out basically. Like you're just going in doing whatever you want, whenever you want. And listen, when we're all young, we think we're going to live forever. We think we're
Yeah.
indestructible. It's the way that it is. It's part of youth. And it's only as you get older that you realize that that is not the case. And something can happen to you at any moment. But he's like a teenager. He's like 16 or 17 years old. He's still in that headspace of like, I'm never going to die. Like nothing's ever going to happen to me. But it was really interesting to hear Alicent basically ask him, listen, what happened to you in your childhood? It wasn't great, but like, how long is it going to take for you to feel avenged? Like, this has been going on and on and on. And I think the real answer is it's up to Aemond, right?
Yeah.
For those of you out there or whoever in life went through something similar to this, obviously not exactly, there's no dragons or, but was picked on all through their youth, had this sort of stuff happen to them. Is there a time when you're an adult when you get past it? Sometimes people do, sometimes people don't. And it actually, because it's happening during a time when you're forming yourself, it forms you as a person. So there isn't enough sort of revenge to be able to ever get over it. Nothing ever helps you feel better. And, that's just the sad fact of when you pick on people, that can happen to that person. It forms them into miserable Aemond who never feels like he's getting what he wants.
And this is why I know it's been a running joke this season that nobody ever listens to Alicent. She just talks and talks, and sometimes she has good ideas, but nobody seems to care. I hope that Aemond actually does listen to his mother in this instance, because she is trying to help him. She's trying to help him overcome some of this stuff. And Aemond, I get it. This will not be a surprise to people. I mean, look at me. I was picked on a lot when I was a kid, but you know what? At the end of the day, a lot of these people, they're just acting out of their own insecurities. They're acting out of their own fears. And ultimately, you just get to this point where, I've seen some things about me in the YouTube comments, and ultimately I just let it all roll off my back and keep going, because they can't really, they want me to be affected by it ultimately. And I think that's the thing that Aemond has to realize, is that people want to get a reaction out of him. Aegon has certainly wanted to get many a reaction out of him, but look at where Aemond is now. You are the king de facto in charge at the moment. Who knows if Aegon will ever be back to that position? Like, it seems like he's recovering a little bit in the preview.
Yeah.
I also kind of wonder this, though, and it's just tinfoil hat, but if Aemond does a really good job at this, even if Aegon recovers, are they really going to want to give it back to him? Are they going to be like, here, terrible but healthy king, you get to be in charge now?
Well, here's the thing, right? I mean, in this last episode, we heard Aemond talking about breaking up the barricade that's going on with the sea snake and being able to get trade to continue to come into King's Landing, because it's really hurting the people that are there. They're not able to get food and they're eating rotten fruit. And now he's locked them in. It's like, okay, we're going to keep them in town. We're going to deal with the sea snake. We're going to get the food back in. Everybody's going to be happy. Bob's your uncle.
Yeah.
But from this preview, we saw, Helena and Alicent going through the square where, the knights are all out there trying to like help them and stop the mobs from attacking them. So clearly Aemond hasn't been able to clear that up yet, and there's unrest.
Yeah, that's something that's going to take time. It's going to take effort. And that's something that I don't think Aemond really has the knowledge or the experience to handle. And this is where I sit back and I'm thinking, you guys had Otto. You guys had somebody who at least seemed to have some of this stuff on lock. But because Aegon got a little bit perturbed, a little understandably, by some of the things that Otto said, he's gone. I think Aemond is capable of figuring this out, but it's an uphill battle. And speaking of uphill battles, my guy Jace is finally saying the thing out loud that we all kind of knew, which is that They need Daemon. They need Daemon in order to figure this out. And now I know that Rhaenyra has already sent Sir Alfred to Harrenhal, but how much raise your hand if you trust Sir Alfred, who all we know about him is that he just talks bad to Rhaenyra to her face. Like, who thinks he's going to be able to do anything?
Well, that's part of the problem, right?
Yeah.
Like he's just been like Team Damon, Team Damon. We need, a man in charge. And then he's going to go out there and run into Damon who's going to be like, "Yeah, I'm making a run at the throne. I'm the king." Like so at that point, what's Alfred going to do?
Yeah.
Oh, all hail King Damon, right? Like he's behind Rhaenyra for now is what it feels like.
Can we just send Jace to Harrenhal and have because Jace actually has a good track record now of being able to get through to
Yeah.
people. He did a good job with House Stark. It seems like he's
Mhm.
handled things okay with the phrase. I think you send Jace up there. I don't know if you send Bela up there and if she's just sort of like, can you actually try being a decent father?
I
Because you've been just abandoning your whole family for most of the season. I don't know exactly what will get through to him, but I think the biggest thing he needs to be aware of, regardless of if you're king or not, there's all these battles and chaos and all this stuff happening all around you, and you're playing house, you're chopping wood, you're pretending to be king, you're letting Alice talk, you're not actually doing anything.
Yeah, and it's very interesting that he isn't doing anything, but he's the biggest player on the board
Yeah.
right now. Like Rhaenyra needs him back. Jace has said, Damon's the player for us. Even in this preview, Kristen Cole's like, yeah, Damon's a player. If he takes the Riverlands, then we don't have the numbers to fight him anymore. So we need to deal with Daemon.
Yeah, everyone is aware of how big of a threat this guy is. The only person who seems to be slowing down Daemon right now is Daemon, who just wants to be king and wants to live in his own little pretend land, because I think he's also still being petulant and in his feelings because Rhaenyra sent him away because, lo and behold, Daemon went behind her back and orchestrated a complete disaster.
Yeah, and now he's doing it again, except that he's like, I'm going to be the king, but nobody wants to bend the knee to him. It said in the last episode, we're not going to do that. There's no way we're going to be led by you.
There's only a few episodes left this season, and obviously I'm bummed about that, but I think there's going to be a lot of ground that's covered. I at least feel confident that by the end of the season, Daemon will be out of Harrenhal.
I hope so. I mean, yeah, there's only a couple episodes left. I hope either he's going to be out of there or other people are going to be there with him besides having the same conversations with himself, with
Yeah.
people from his past, with Alice. Like, it's enough. Like, it's very repetitive. And having such a cool character like Damon, I expected we would have like some of this, maybe an episode or two. We get it, he's having a time. He's trying to figure himself out. It's enough now.
Let's figure this out, Team Black. We can do this. I'm gonna say we like I'm out there fighting with you guys. But okay, well that is our preview for season 2 of episode 6 of House of the Dragon. Be sure to hit that subscribe button for reviews, other great coverage. You can support us further by joining our Patreon. We have a link in the description. Just $5 a month does help us support us so much. And we'll see you guys here next time.